Hey everyone, I would like to go over week 6 learning resources and discussion with you. This week you will be learning about group therapy. As you can see, there are 3 chapters to read from the Yalom book. If you ever want to know anything related to group theory, Yalom is always a great go-to for information related to theory and intervention. Within these chapters, you will learn more about the theoretical approach to group therapy and the effectiveness. Group therapy can be extremely powerful because not only do you have the therapeutic value of the presence of the therapist and their intervention, but you have the interpersonal learning and relating that comes from a group of people with a common concern. Within the group, you can see that others can not only relate to each other so that they feel less alone, but it is also an opportunity to practice their own interpersonal skills. You will see within the readings that there are a variety of different kinds of groups, from psychoeducational groups to general support groups. The role of the therapist may vary within these different types of groups, though there is always a general focus on the here and now and the group process. Within this kind of therapy, the client and the focus is the group as a whole instead of each individual person, which is similar to that of family therapy. So the 3 Yalom chapters are the required reading. Then you will need to choose one from the following grouping where you might find information regarding particular types of groups and groups related to different issues. Choose an article that interests you or something that you would like to learn more about. And then the final requirement for learning resources is the video listed in media. Please view it in its entirety. Moving on, we have one discussion this week and then your integrative part 2 paper. I will review the paper in a separate video, so please make sure to view that. For the discussion this week, you will see that I have assigned each of you to a different group setting which you will be basing your discussion on. You can view the setting you were assigned to in the announcement for this week. The goal of the discussion is to develop a plan for this group as if you were coaching a fellow social worker on running a group. Please view the required parts for the initial post. Based on the setting, you can decide yourself regarding a particular subset of that population, as well as a particular issue you might want to focus the group on if you choose to have it issue focused. From there, the therapeutic factor or purpose would be to basically state the overall goal and purpose of the group. When looking at different tasks from pre-screening to facilitation, you might list some questions you might want to ask potential participants and potential factors that might lead you to say this participant would be appropriate for the group or inappropriate for the group. For instance, would you want to keep the group gender specific? Would you want to keep it issue specific? Are there any particular issues that might be dysfunctional to the group as a whole? For instance, depending on what the group purpose is, if somebody has a history of aggressive behavior, history of psychosis, depending on what the purpose of the group, that may or may not be appropriate. From there, you will get into the structure of the group, including some structured activities you might want to include. Here you can provide a general idea of what you might include or even plan it out week to week or day to day, depending on the frequency in which the group would meet. And maybe if it's a closed group or in structure group or psychoeducational group, or it's an open ongoing support group. Lastly, and arguably the most important aspect, is to identify potential issues that might arise and a plan to deal with them. Of course, groups can at times be unpredictable based on the participants, but there may be some concerns you can pre-plan for in order to have an idea of how to handle it. Finally, your response post will be simply to provide some constructive feedback to one or more of your classmates. I understand this discussion includes a lot of content. I hope I have provided a sufficient explanation, but if you have additional questions, please reach out.